Hello and welcome to session 8 now of Interviews with the Experts series for the YouTube channel Naomi Ella Motherhood Transitions. Today I'm talking to the really super gorgeous Mary Hemingway. She's a holistic financial advisor, which is something that I'm really interested in, and we had a little chat the other day and so much came up, so I really wanted to bring her in today to talk to you guys a little bit about what she does, how she covers financial advice, and also having a little look about life insurance. So hi Mary, thank you so much for coming in today.
Hi Naomi, thanks for having me. Thanks very much, really excited.
Yeah, no, me too. I think best to start, we'll just have a little introduction to who you are. Just let us know who you are and what you do, and then we'll get a bit of a feel about what sort of angle holistic financial advice and advisor is all about, because that's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically not many people know what financial advisors do. We're usually men in their 50s with elbow patches that no one is really in touch with. So I'm the exact opposite of that. I'm a mum myself. I've got a 15-month-old, pushing the time away there. And I look at finances really holistically. So what that looks like in a family perspective is looking after your family's finances, and specifically making sure that they're protected, whether you were to contract a critical illness, be off work for a long period of time, sick or not able to earn, if you were to pass away, making sure mortgages are correct, making sure that you're saving properly. It's really visualizing your objectives and your goals, and then I come in and work with you to make your money make that happen. So it's a little bit of a financial coach, it's a little bit of a counsellor sometimes, because money is such a personal thing. I really pride myself in making very personal relationships with everyone that I work with, and that then enables me to work with a family all the way through their life, really, up until retirement. When we've saved for your retirement, you enjoy your retirement and then essentially pass your assets on to your children. So that's what we mean when we say holistic financial advisor. I don't just look at one thing.
Because you're right, it is a really personal thing, isn't it? And money is a funny thing, you know. Most people don't like talking about money. Most people find it awkward, and also, it's not that widely understood exactly what a financial advisor can do, and the way that you approach that is, I think that's really gorgeous, because it's really caring and it's very person-centered, which is what it should be about, because this is the whole world is run by money, and it's so important that we are aware of that and we can acknowledge that and work with that to the best of our ability. And actually, me included, most of us don't know how.
It's a skill set that people aren't taught in school, essentially. So one of the things that I really enjoyed doing is actually going into schools and teaching money management, and giving just a little bit of something that even if they don't remember the entire lesson, they might remember, oh, that crazy lady stood in front of us and said I should pay into a pension. And actually, it's just I think a lot of my job is making financial advice really accessible to people, really friendly. And there's some awkward conversations in there. We have to talk about what will happen if you die, or I'm there if you've divorced with your partner and we have to split assets. It's I quite often, as the financial advisor, know a lot more than sometimes that people's partners do if you run separate finances. So it's really personal. So you've got to trust whoever you discuss these things with. Make sure that you work with someone trustworthy and get something really bespoke to your family. There's no off the peg financial planning. There's no such thing. So it's worth the time to really sit and invest in thinking about it. And myself as a holistic advisor will help you do that and match and work out a bespoke plan for what you need to do.
That's amazing. I think that's something that a lot of people would rather go for. Just bear with me 1 moment. I'm just going to close the window because I'm aware that there's lots of cars going on outside.
You can probably hear my 15-month-old screaming in the background. I can hear it.
That's the joy of it.
She's been looked after. I've not just left her in the room on her own.
She's there with Teletubbies in an ice cream box.
Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Sometimes, whatever. Absolutely right. I really think that is something that would really appeal to a lot of people. And I think knowing a little bit more about that now, it definitely would make me think about doing it. And since we've had our last chat, I've definitely thought about coming to you and actually, you know, working with you at some point, because they are awkward conversations, and it is a really fragile thing, and especially when you've got children. And definitely with now, I mean, the whole world has been hit with something that we didn't see coming. We're not prepared for it, and we have no idea what it is, and we're doing the best that we can to try and deal with this in the best way possible. And it's really thrown out our entire economy, and there are people who you know, some people actually will be thriving in this kind of economy, and a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. They'll be going on furlough and things like that. So it's all a bit up in the air whilst it's kind of all settling down. And for me, it's, I mean, I knew about this anyway. I knew life insurance was a good idea. I knew that I needed to sort my finances out, like, properly, and really speak to somebody about that. But something like this has really hit home of, there is no more time. Now is the time.
That's it. It's really, really an important thing to do now, and it's so easy. Like with any other insurance is boring. Let's be honest. It's not. No one thinks insurance is sexy. It's just one of those things that's on a list, and yeah, I mean, legally you've got to have car insurance.
Yeah.
You know, you sort it out. You've just got to do it, haven't you?
Yeah.
But life insurance is one that just gets missed.
Yeah.
And my family's prime example of why you just shouldn't let that go any further. One example that I use quite often is actually so my last year, I had a 2-week-old baby at the time, and I got a phone call from my family that lived back down in Lancaster to say that my littlest nephew, my 9-year-old nephew as he was at the time, had a stroke at school. He just collapsed in the playground. They didn't know what it was at the time. He'd collapsed. He was in the Royal Lancaster Infirmary, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. He was fitting, and they couldn't tell what was happening. And it was like the absolute bottom fell out of my entire family. It was awful. Thankfully, he got moved to Manchester Sick Kids, who were just incredible. But he was in there in an induced coma for weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Brain recover, which was horrific. He eventually stayed there 14 weeks.
And that's your nephew, isn't it?
My nephew is 9 at the time. And no existing health problems, perfectly fit and healthy little boy in the playground, and he fell over, and it turns out he had a stroke, and 1/3 of his brain is dead. It's gone. It's not coming back. Oh. But thankfully, really thankfully, he's okay. Actually, he's up. He's back at normal school. His speech is a bit affected. His movement is a little bit affected, but thank goodness he's fine. He's still him. He's still got his personality.
Terrifying. I can't even imagine what that must have felt like for any of you to have gone through that.
It's the worst thing my family has ever been through. It's absolutely awful. I dropped my 2-week-old child. I left her at home and went down to Manchester Sick Kids, and had to be with my sister and my family because I had to. I had no choice. But yeah, it was just awful. It was absolutely awful, and no insurance can ever fix that. If that's going to happen, that was a freak accident. If that's going to happen, it's going to happen. But at the time, I had obviously just had a baby, so I'd gone on maternity leave. But I'd been arranging with my sister and my brother-in-law to sort out their life insurance. I'd had a baby and not got round to doing it. But if I'd have pulled my finger out and they'd have kept on at me to sort it out for them, they would have got about £25,000 in cash.
Because of what happened?
Because that's a critical illness. So under the policies that I recommend for families, I usually make sure that's included. And that would have meant that my nephew's stepdad wouldn't have had to go back to work. He was self-employed at the time. It would have just made so much difference. It just been a bit just less stress. We don't have to worry about money. And thankfully, the amazing community that my little nephew was part of, they immediately had fundraisers set up. Everyone was doing sponsored everything to really help the family out. And they got through it. He got through it physically, mentally, and they just about got through it financially. But as a sister, I feel horrific for not doing that. But as a financial advisor, like professionally, that's just I felt awful because I could have fixed that, and I could have just been a little bit more pushy and said, no, come on, sign the paperwork, please.
But you were pregnant and just had a baby.
Listen, yeah, I'm being kind to myself
Mm.
because I had had enough on my plate at the time, and it was on my
A
to-do
lot.
list to do when I got back.
And there's nothing
But
you could do. There's no way you could foresee that happening.
oh God, no. But I think it's a really good example of actually don't put it off. This today is the cheapest that you will ever get life insurance. It's only ever going to get more expensive. So just do it. Just get it done. It doesn't usually happen overnight anyway. So just get the ball rolling. Use a financial advisor if you feel that's appropriate, because they will handle it, and just get it done.
So how would I just really, really feel for that, because it's such a tragic experience for everybody, and I just feel quite emotional about that. How would someone then sort of come and talk? Do you work online as well? So you would see people face to face, but obviously at the moment that's not really possible. How else do you work then? Do you work online?
I'm doing a lot of this. I'm doing a lot of Zoom chats. Yeah, I've got one in the next hour and a half. For someone that's just been in touch and said, oh, I need a bit of life insurance. Yeah. It's one of the easiest things to be able to do like this. Yeah. Usually if I'm doing really the full holistic spreads, that's pensions, investments, all sorts, it's nice to do face to face, but technology, it works just as well like this, I think. Yeah. And I just do a lot of back and forth via email a lot of the time too, because I've got a toddler attached to me, so
not easy.
Do Zoom chats.
Yeah. So how is the best way that people find you then? So have you got your website and social links and things like that? How do people find you?
Yeah, so I work with a company called Truly Independent, which is a national firm of financial advisors. So if you go on to get that the right way around.
I'm going to just repeat that. It just froze then for some reason.
trulyifa.co.uk.
Okay.
That is the network of advisors that I belong to. So then there's a little location search there. If you want to find a local person that works with me, have a quick type in there, and there might be someone nearby. But I will give you a link to my individual website as well. Right. And my telephone number and my email. I'm in the Connected Motherhood Collective group. Yeah. So anyone, you can just pop me an instant message in there as well, or whatever it is. I'm really happy to answer quick questions. But then if we feel that there's time that we need to sit and have the full conversation, that's fine. We just set aside time when we're able to.
Perfect. That's amazing. So if anyone who is watching this really wants to get in touch with you, or even just has a quick question, so whether you're seeing this on YouTube or whether you're seeing this in the group, the Connected Mother Collective, just pop a little comment down below, and then Mary will be able to get back in touch with you. And obviously if you're in the group as well, then you can send her a direct message and just kind of start that conversation rolling. I think it's just been so important, and I think this is such an important message to share with people, and I really appreciate and respect your approach to the whole situation and sort of where you come from, and it feels so much more friendly. It feels so much more approachable to actually go, oh yeah, great, I can talk to her and I can really get some help. Because like I say, you know, and there is this viewpoint of sort of financial advising, oh, it's boring, I will do that later. Some people love it, but most people, you know, sort of push it to one side. So I think it's really important to just keep like spreading the word, and definitely now with the life insurance side of things, it's just absolutely critical right now that we really start to put those wheels in motion. So I'm actually going to book on for a proper call with you, and we'll have another chat another time about that and see what you can do around that.
Absolutely, more than welcome to do that. It's just it's having that initial conversation. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but let's try and have a bit of a laugh and a joke about it. And then I go away, I do the research, and I get you the best cover that fits you at the best price. So it's really, really worthwhile doing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to do it. Well, thank you so much for today. I have definitely really appreciated that. And I know that there will be so many more people that will just love this. Yes, and we'll see you back over in the Connected Mother Collective as well. So thank you so much for your time today. We really, really appreciate that.
Thanks. See you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye for now. Bye.